Hey, it's Will Rich here. We were trading these tech stocks live, Tesla, Big Bear AI, and AMD, and we caught some solid profits. And if you guys ever want to watch us trade these moves live at market open, we go live every Monday through Friday at market open. There's a huge sale going on right now. It's that second link down below in the description to join us. See you guys inside. So today we're looking at Big Bear, but before we get into it, quick trade update. We got into TSLL. It sunk dramatically. We averaged down a little bit and bought some more, and we're up about $90 profit as it has recovered up to about $10.08. Our entry originally was $10.08 in our live session. Then it went down. We ended up adding some more, despite really what should have been maybe a market sell around 985. We decided to double down and actually get more into Tesla as it was overcorrecting. Pre-market numbers up in that 1045, 1050 on TSLL. So we just averaged down and we're up about $90 profit so far to start the day today. Now, other things are moving. Nvidia was down, dragged our portfolio down just a little bit. CTM was down. Big Bear AI today, as you could see. Oh, clicked on cooler, which we sold a put, or we closed our position out on our puts that we bought for KULR today and had a $250 profit at market open. But still, portfolio is down. So what gives? It's some of this movement from Big Bear, movement from CTM stock. We have this movement from Big Bear is kind of staying true to pattern as we kind of mapped out a few days ago. We said, hey, it's pushing and bouncing right at this $2.90 price point, starting to break above. But wouldn't be surprised if we see it sell back down. It didn't sell down all the way to that 290 range, but it did start the day today. If we just kind of get down to brass tacks on exactly how much the stock sunk, here's market open where most of the big moves happen. And we saw it sell down here. At one point, it was down 6.6%. It's recovered since then, only about 3% down on the day. So as we're looking through Big Bear, we start to see this push up, maybe a little bit of momentum continuation. There's two things we're looking at here. Number one, this was a previous level at which it's bounced a few times at $3.08. And we normally would go through a three-part analysis. We would go through this chart, we would go through the financials, and we go through the news. When it comes to the news, there's new contracts coming in. They have pretty good solid foundation for incoming government contracts, but we don't need to go into it as much. Just know this: they are a technology company in AI and defense. They've been building, for those of you guys that don't know, large language models and AI to process large amounts of data and profiles that enter and exit through different parts of the US, that fly out in airports. They have their Pentagon partnership. They have a $160 million contract with Army there. They have a partnership with Palantir. And then they have the airports that they work with. So we're talking about Denver International Airport as well as Heathrow Airport. This new innovative tech that scans the face but also runs through an AI learning language model that on the back end goes through and analyzes different threats at different transportation points. So their revenue, so news looks pretty good. I don't see anything negative other than maybe the lawsuits, but again, those lawsuits have been categorized as generic, as the same type of lawsuit companies and firms just always hit the same types of lawsuits saying you misreported this, you misreported that, blah, blah, blah. And they're trying to tell investors with no interest of their own. They're telling investors, did you lose money investing in so-and-so? Call us now and we'll blah, 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 so that we could get you whatever. So at the end of the day, those lawsuits, I don't give them much weight. Some people say that if you look at BBAI and you see those lawsuits, or those are holders accidentally, but there is BlackRock, Vanguard, and some others that are holding it. But if you take a look at Big Bear AI from a news perspective, I don't know if the lawsuits are still getting any wind. Nope, doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like they're getting wind. But if you go back a couple weeks, maybe Yeah, not getting any. Oh, here we go. An hour ago, shareholder alert: Bernstein Liebert LLP announces securities fraud class action suit. Some people say that that should have a lot of, like actual weight, but I it brings me back to this quote that's like, the human mind, profound respect, and I think it's like inroads or something like that. Let's take a look at what the quote is. It says, we must view with profound respect. Here is a quote from someone on X. We must view with profound respect the infinite capacity of the human mind to resist the inroads of useful knowledge. I see that true with Big Bear. You know, I'm not going to sit here and try and change the mind of people that comment every video. Have you seen the lawsuits with Big Bear AI? Have you seen this? The useful knowledge that we have that people are resisting to look at is, number one, you have the investor sentiment from the biggest institutions in the world: Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, Morgan Stanley, buying in towards the end of last year and increasing their positions, more increases than decreases in positions. And then the other useful knowledge, I believe, is that they recently paid down a large portion of any debts that they have, and they're about to see their net income be much greater. And that in their recent earnings call that is now available, revenue's up 4% year over year, or 5%. Net income's up 51% year over year. They did have steadily increasing revenues up to 43 million, and that tapered off a little bit in this last quarter. But that they announced, outside of, you know, the financials not looking maybe as favorable as what you might expect, they still announced the contracts that they're getting paid for from different Department of Defense contracts and what have you are still, while they began to deliver, they have some payments that haven't gone through that are going to be going through in the very near term, but they just haven't hit the bank account, or they're not going to include the future revenue. They're only including what, you know, money they get into their bank account or what have you. So that's why they don't have the revenue that looks surprising. And so, if anything, that gives us a more bullish sentiment for the next quarter, that some of those payments, along with the projected revenues, hit as well, which could really act as a stimulus really for the next quarter. So with that being said, you start to see this trend as well. It is at a previous resistance that we've seen it bounce at. You guys see this level? It's a resistance right here, resistance, and then also you got resistance right there. Then you have a support level right here at 325. And today, like right now, at the moment, it is literally at 325. So right here is where it is. And you can even see it kind of cross over this moving average, this green line that oftentimes acts as a resistance. So we'll see if it really holds above this level. I think this market pullback today that we saw actually could be very healthy and start to develop a new trend for Big Bear. On the near term, you know, you could go back long term, and of course, you know, you see a market cap build. Maybe we see, you know, levels in that $5 to $7 range up here. But overall, just back in November when we started covering it, it was, you know, $1 something a share. It reached 10.50 at one point, or 10.36, before selling down to now, 2.36, and then recovering up to what is 3.25. And as we're looking at it, you know, in the last month, and let's, you know, really take a look, you know, it's consolidating from left to right. You know, we've really identified these levels, but there's also this strong move, recently pulled back, maybe validated a previous consolidation and support here at $2.93 a share. And so now this trend might be happening. I would see maybe we start to see this trend happen up to some new levels. And if you look at this here, maybe this is the new trend that we start to see develop. And what is that kind of in line with? That's in line with this trajectory, this overall market cap build that we've been seeing happen with Big Bear. So to not get too complicated, to just really simply look at the dynamic swings with Big Bear, the validation of the support was strong. Now we're starting to see a little bit of a push up, and this recent pullback today along with the rest of the market, is not something I would say is anything other than a healthy pullback. And I would continue to, in my long-term position, add to our position. And definitely, as we start to see this swing play out, maybe we'll see if it holds this level. But if we do get this validation here, start to see it push up more, I could see Big Bear as a really good trade as we enter this week and start to see maybe some momentum build. So we'll see if this trend stays true. The next level then would be up to 358, then maybe a sell down to 334. That's the kind of trend that we might be seeing early right now. But again, we'll just have to kind of take a look, because there's that trend, right? But there's also the risk to reward right now. Overall, it's kind of in a mid level between this larger consolidation from left to right here, right? It's kind of in the middle. So maybe selling back down as well. So there's the risk there. So when we're looking at it, and if we're holding this trend, if we get into it, most likely we'd have a stop loss somewhere in this level of around $3.15, and we would be looking for this recovery into this 358, as we mentioned, which is about a 10% swing there on BigBear.ai. So the stock, in my eyes, is operating quite efficiently. Just comes down to some overall market sell-off today. The green that you see here is Google doing okay, but mostly the inverses of Tesla or of Palantir, or I guess Palantir is up a little bit. But overall, the green that we're seeing, some of the green really is coming from those stocks that we trade if the market's going down, which in this case are looking pretty green right now. AMD stock, though, they got some stuff going on with Starlink that I think is going to be huge, and they just broke over $100 a share today. So again, we're in a TSLL position. We'll be following it closely as we entered it in our live session this morning. It's been volatile, but again, this is the swing that we could see maybe up to this 1050 range. For those of you guys that ever want to watch us trade live at market open and see our entries and our exits, we have a huge sale going on down below in StockMate, and would love to have you guys there. So it's that second link below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all. If I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. Do consider subscribing. My name's been Will Rich. I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.